28 Days Later franchise is a franchise I've never seen before. I've never seen a single movie from it. And with the recent 28 years later, I thought I'd go through every single movie they have and rank them all to see if they're any good or not, and if it's worth watching the 2 new movies that are going to come out later on in life. I don't know when they're coming out or what they're called. I'll fucking do my research that deep. But that's not dilly-dally. Let's get right into it. 28 Days. Now this movie starts with a little white girl getting drunk and having the night of her life at a party. She gets up to load of drunken hijinks, you know, getting with a bunch of guys and all that malarkey. And later on in the story, she goes to her sister's wedding. During this, she gets super drunk like she did at the parties, but obviously this is a public event, so it goes really bad for her, and when she's driving a car home, she crashes. Now this is in the public eye, she has to go to rehab. We spend the rest of the movie with her going to rehab, trying to get better, trying to solve this issue she has. By the end, she's sober, she's happy, she's friends with a horse, and we end with a freeze frame and a fade to black. We get both of those in there. This movie was pretty fucking ass, I won't lie. I would not recommend watching it. I watched this on a dodgy website and I want my money back. I suppose it's probably a look into the world before the zombie apocalypse happened, but that would just mean that this is just a movie set in the real world. So yeah, I think a little tease at the end of the movie with just a zombie or two, like oh my god, they're here, that would have been good. But seeing as there was no zombies at all, I'm gonna have to give it a 1 out of 10. 28 days later. Now we're really starting to cook. So the movie starts with some monkeys watching some TV, and instantly I am already giving this a better rating than the first one. This one scene is more entertaining than the entire last movie. So we have these scientists, they're testing some stuff on the monkeys, and then some civil rights people come in and break the monkeys out, you know, be like, yo, we want these monkeys to be free, but turns out the monkeys have the virus, and they start biting the humans, and then everyone starts getting infected, and that's how the intro sequence ends before we get a little title card. Off the bat, I'm not hooked. All jokes aside, love the monkey part, but it was kind of boring. Mostly the editing in it kind of sucked. Now, obviously, this is an older movie, but still, you can make arts back in the day. And this didn't feel like art. This felt like, look at this action sequence with these monkeys. Anyways, we cut to Dick. Oppenheimer is inside of a hospital and he needs to get out. He's like, whoa, what the fuck's happening? I don't know why we had to start on the penis shot, but I'm not gonna complain. He's walking around the streets of London, and I do like all the London memorabilia being lying around on all the streets. It's a nice shot, but it kind of begs the question, what the fuck happened where someone had this much merch for London and then instantly the zombie apocalypse happened and they dropped it all in the one spot? Like, they had a bag full of that Big Ben merch. Like, it's crazy. Now, realistically, later on in the movie, we see how the zombies work and all that malarkey. There would be quite a lot of zombies just around, no matter what. And the amount of noise he's making and the amount of time he's in the streets, he would be dead. But let's ignore that, whatever. He goes to a church, he gets chased down by some zombies, and then he gets saved at a gas station by 2 survivors. And they give him a little quick tutorial on how the infected work and what's going on. They're just like, yo, everyone's dead. And he's like, yo, I want to go back to my mom's house, I want to see her. And they go and she's dead because no shit, she's dead. And they chill out in that house for the night, then get attacked by some zombies, and the male guy dies, and the woman's like, I die, bitch, and instantly kills him, which I respect as fuck. No chances, no pity. Come on now, it's the zombie apocalypse, everyone's gonna die eventually. They get infected, don't risk that shit. Anyways, they see some flickering lights inside of a building or something, so they go over there to see if they can find some survivors in there or something like that. And we enter a chase sequence of where they're running upstairs and zombies are chasing after them. And the audio mixing here is goddamn awful. I had speakers and it still hurt my ears. I would love for them to just fix the audio a little bit. I hate it in movies when it's really quiet and it's super loud. Like, keep it at a nice level. Now we meet my sweetheart Frank. I love this guy. I hope nothing bad happens to him. I'm sure nothing will happen to him. This guy is great. He's got him and his daughter living in their own apartment. They got this nice setup going on. They got some buckets on the roof for some rainwater. I did notice one of the buckets was a washing basket with holes in. Not sure the point of that, but I respect the hustle. Anyway, they hear on the radio that there's like a military base thing that soldiers are picking up survivors from. So they're like, all right, bet we're heading over there. And on the way, they find a shop that just looks untouched. Like, it looks pristine. I would think if I went to a shop right now, it would look identical to this, of how neat that fucking shelves. Actually, no, it would look worse because those shelves are neat as fuck. 28 days with survivors kind of being around and zombies being around, and those shelves are perfect. Shut your bitch ass up. We get some cute scenes of all of them bonding together, you know, seeming like they're actually getting along. The woman that Oppenheimer found earlier on, she started to open up a bit to him. You know, she was very strict. Like I said earlier, she just killed her friend as soon as they got infected. She's starting to actually, you know, open up to these people and start liking them more. And she eventually even kisses Oppenheimer. He's getting some action, baby. It was only on the cheek, but still. Now, I won't lie, this was a bit cringe. Like, these are grown-ass people. Even though they're in a zombie apocalypse, why do they have to, like, go down to 8 years old and be like, bitch, that was on the cheek, and that wasn't cheeky. That was just what the fuck was that? We started the movie with a cock. They can't be a little soft like, oh, that was cute on the cheek. We started the fucking movie with a fucking shaft and balls. They then go to the military base and they realize there was fuck all there, and Frank is pissed. He is not happy. Now, I didn't mention this like at all really, but his daughter was there the entire time. She is so unimportant to this story. Later on, she has a bigger role, but she doesn't really fulfill that role of anything but just being her. We'll get into that later. Anyways, Frank is raging. He's kicking stuff and whatever, and eventually he kicks a dead body, a zombie body, which has a bit of blood drop from it, and it hits his eye. Now, any sort of blood or spit or anything like that will obviously transport the virus. So he starts getting infected. And it's a very sad scene where he calls over his door. He's like, well, I love you, stay back. This is so sad. Now, this bit, it kind of annoys me, to be honest with you. It feels like a movie sequence. I want it to feel like it's based in reality, my movies. I want to kind of believe it's kind of real, even though it's a zombie apocalypse. You want to base that zombie apocalypse in reality in this and make it feel like these happenstances would really happen. Not that this guy who really wanted to find the military to help him out would so happen to kick something, get infected, and as soon as he turns, then people with guns show up and save them. What a coincidence. He just missed them. Anyway, the soldiers, they kill my main boy Frank. It's very sad, but he's already a zombie at this point. And the rest of the gang go with these soldiers. They meet the doctor, who's the leader of their group, and we got some Oppenheimer booty. We've seen the front and the back now. All we need now are the nips. Oh, we got that too. The females get a bit sad about, Frank being dead. Whatever, move on. He's dead already. So Oppenheimer uses his genius techniques. He's like, all right, how do I help these people who are sad? Especially this one girl who's kissed me on the cheek earlier. I know, I'm going to kiss her. I don't think you're at that level yet where your comforting technique can be kissing. But sure, it works. God damn, it works. Anyway, the group of men that say them are just goddamn horn dogs, and they just want them women to be used as women. AKA, they want to rape them. Not good. This is bad. Oppenheimer is not down for this. So, because Oppenheimer's fighting against them, trying to, rape women, they beat the shit out of him, and he eventually escapes from being murdered, which is nice for him. Well done. But during his running away from them, he's alone, and he's lying in the sky, and he sees a plane fly by in the sky, making him realize that, oh shit, the rest of the world is fine. It's just the UK that's run by zombies. Anyways, Cillian Murphy is now becoming the best assassin in the world. He comes up with this genius plan. First of all, he distracts some of the guards, getting into the military base. He even kills one of them. Oh, it's the first time he's ever killed someone, and he isn't stopping there. Anyways, he goes back to the camp of the military boys, and they have a chained up zombie there, and he's like, I'm gonna use this shit to my advantage. He unleashes the chained zombie, which obviously gets loose, and he starts hunting them down. There's this funny shot of the zombie in the window. I like that shit. Anyway, the zombie starts taking out the soldier boys, and luckily they never go for the women, which is nice of the zombie. Now, 3 of the guards are taken out by this zombie, and Oppenheimer shanks up the last one, killing them, and somehow this pasty, skinny-ass white boy has taken out this entire military team. You gotta respect that. And the woman, she loving this shit. This turns her right on. So they all hop in the whip. Doctor Who's trying to stop them, but that is no use because they have plot armor. And they drive out of there, and they drive into a big gate and have an epic freeze frame. 28 days later, title card. It shows them just chilling in a house next to a beach with a massive sign written out as a plane flies by to try and signal to the rest of the world to help. We're here, we're alive. Now, what did they write on this sign? Did it say help? Did it say SOS? No, it said hello. Couldn't have thought of anything better on a sign than hello. It just seems like a greeting, Did they know? Let's say you weren't awake or around when the plane was coming, and they fly by and you're not there waving. Instead of saying SOS or help us, it says hello. They're gonna ignore that shit. They're gonna think, those goddamn zombies are trying to trick us again. Anyways, movie. It felt like a 2000s movie through and through. The editing, the style, obviously the way it's filmed because it's goddamn 2000s cameras, you can't help that. But the editing, the sound effects, the fucking audio quality all felt like a 2000s movie. Obviously it's of the time, you can't really change that, but that does put it down a little bit. I personally don't think there was enough zombies in this movie. Always in zombie media, it comes down to man versus man, without fail. And while that is interesting the first few times, everything is that. So I kind of just want more zombies in my zombie movies. Sue me, I don't give a shit. Now, I did like Oppenheimer and the Doctor Who man, and the woman was okay. In this movie, they all portrayed their characters very well, but everyone else was kind of ass, especially Frank's daughter. She did nothing. Her role in this movie was just to be Frank's daughter and then be the woman, so then someone can grieve Frank and have Frank have a purpose of be trying so hard to do all this, and then also to be a woman for Doctor Who to rape, which is obviously a great character. Isn't it really good in writing to have a woman in the movie only be a woman to be threatened by men? Like, that's the only characteristic they have. That's good shit. Anyway, overall, I'll give the movie a 5 out of 10. Pretty average. I didn't hate it, but I don't think I'd rewatch the movie anytime soon. 28 weeks later. So, we're 28 weeks later from the first one. The movie starts with 0 goddamn monkeys. Instantly worse. Instead, we get this worried couple, and they're worried about their kids not being with them, and it shows that they're cooking up some food, but they're quite low on supplies. We see that they're staying with some family and other people that have also come to stay with these families. They're just a bunch of random people all stuck together in a little house, staying together. Now, while they're nomming their food, one of the people there is like, oh my god, my boyfriend is out there, guys. I'm scared. And they're like, he's dead, bitch. Move on. But as they're talking about this, someone's banging on the door. It turns out it's a random ass kid. They let the kid in because they're alive. You can hear them talking. You know, they sound human. But of course, the kid brought some zombies with him. The zombies come in. The zombies start eating everyone up. All the non-important characters die instantly. We get the husband and the wife go into a room together. And the wife's like, we need to save this kid. And the man's like, obviously, understandably, fuck off. Can he be asked? I don't know this kid. I'm leaving. He gives her one chance to come with him, and she's like, I gotta save this boy. He's like, I bet I'm fucking out of here. Understandable. Honestly, I respect that. He's running away. He sees his wife in the window banging for help. It's too far gone now. He gave you a chance, love. You fucking lost it. I agree with this decision of his. So he's running away. He gets in a little boat. He gets out of there. The zombies chase after him. Whatever. Title card. 28 weeks later. Now, during this entire first sequence, the audio mixing was still goddamn awful. You'd think they would learn from the first movie. We're on the second one now. You can fix the audio a little bit. They did not. Also, the camera movement throughout was really close up in a lot of sequences. I think it was trying to make the essence of feeling uncomfortable and too close, but it did achieve that in fairness, but also made me confused of what the fuck was going on. I like what they were trying to do, but they were doing too much of it. Anyway, the title card 28 weeks later, they also have a few more title cards in it, just catching you up to speed of what happened. So it goes 5 weeks later. The affected have died from starvation, so there was 0 zombies in the UK now. 0. I'm sure there's probably still like blood and stuff around that you could technically eat. Like the virus still is probably around somewhere. But zombies, 0 of them. And the movie says that. No humans. The movie. So that is a fact. After 13 weeks, Americans have come to the UK to just see what's going on. You know, to see if they can rebuild it at all. And then we get to 28 weeks later where they've started rebuilding it a little bit. There's a little town where they've started moving some people that they found that are alive. And obviously there's quite a big amount of country they have to fix eventually. But there's a little town they're starting to work on right now where they're moving everyone to. We get some closer ups on London. We see that it's a military owned zone now. There's soldiers everywhere, snipers on the roofs, just people looking everywhere. They know there's no more zombies because the movie just told them that there was no more zombies. But they just gotta make sure, you know, better be safe than sorry. And we focus in on 2 siblings. They're getting tested to make sure there's no virus in them at all, and they're all good. They hop on a train. They go to the new home, the little city I talked about just now. Once they get there, they see their dad. It's the guy from the intro sequence, and he's like, yo, what's up, homies? It's good to finally see you. Now, once they're here, they get told, all right, don't leave this place. But no matter what you do, this place is a safe zone. Don't leave. At all. The 2 siblings go with the dad. They find their new house thing they got. He's like, I believe he helped build this city in some sort of aspect, so he's got a little bit of privilege. So they got a nice little suite going on. They're like, yo, what happened to mom? And he's like, yeah, that bitch died. I saw her get ripped apart in front of my eyes. Shit was sad, but there's nothing I could do. Now, during this, they splice through him explaining what happened with the actual facts of him letting her die. You know, he could have technically attempted to save her, but he didn't. But these clips, awful, man. Because it's like, let me give you an example. Yeah, I tried to save her, but I couldn't. There was just too many of them. You know? Awful shit, man. We get to meet Jeremy Renner from the hit Jeremy Renner app, and he's one of the snipers on the roof. He's kind of being a little bit of a prick. For example, he's pranking one of the helicopter drivers by going up to him going, blah, I'm a zombie. Come on now. Millions of people died. And then he starts sniping and he's looking at people having sex. The classic pervy sniper. Boom, jump scare. I don't know why there's a random just jump scare. I think it's meant to be a jump scare at least. We see the black backdrop with the mother there, and she just rips her face off and goes. It was a horrible attempt at a jump scare. It kind of pissed me off because it just felt out of place, out of nowhere. We've never seen anything like this. It's obviously instantly revealed that it was a dream. This is the second movie now. This has never happened before. It felt out of place and also felt cheap of an attempt to try and scare me. It failed. Anyway, it was a dream of the kid being like, yo, I'm never gonna see my mum again. He says that to his sister. He's like, I'm scared I'm gonna forget what she looks like. And she's like, don't worry, we'll go home and get a picture. So first thing in the morning, that's what they do. They leave the goddamn city they got told to never goddamn leave. Because of course they do. They goddamn geniuses. And somehow, these two kids get past the guards and escape. Jeremy Renner sees them leave and he waits a good minute or two before he reports it in. Don't know why he waits so long. Anyways, now that they're escaped, they have pretty easy time get home, surprisingly. I guess there's no zombies in the world actually, so why wouldn't they? They see one dead person on the way, they get kind of spooked by it, but then they jump on a moped and just drive all the way home. Now once they get there, they find the picture, they pick it up, and I gotta respect that. They can go home now. They got it, job done. They jump on the trampoline for a little bit. Okay, you did a little trampoline, now you can go home. And then they start exploring more of the house. What are you doing, you silly bitch? They go up to the bedroom and they see the mom there. Turns out the mom's alive. Not only is she alive, she's not a zombie, even though she definitely should be. The military show up and they know obviously where they would have gone. They would have gone home, and they take all of them back. Now the kids see their dad and like, you lying, you fucking asshole. Mom's alive. You didn't see her die. And he's like, it's complicated. She might have died. I don't know. And we cut to the mom and she's getting some tests done on her, being like, yo, are you infected? And it turns out she is infected, but she just can't get infected. So basically zombies are bitter. She's infected with the virus in her blood, but it hasn't affected her. So she's kind of a carrier of the illness just because she has two different eyeball colors. I think that's the thing that gives it away. Do have a question. How did she not just die? We've seen many times zombies not just bite people, but also just rip them to shreds. So I don't know why she didn't die. How the fuck did she escape this situation where she only got away with a bite mark? Whatever. So the scientists are like, okay, we can try and find a cure with this. You know, she not dying from it, so this is pretty good. And the military are like, no, fuck that shit. We got no zombies in the world anyway. Why do we need a cure? Just kill her. While they're discussing, the husband goes to see his wife. He's like, yo, what's up, homie? And she's kind of forgiving for him letting her die 28 weeks ago. You know, that was a long time ago. And they start smooching. But she's got the virus in her. That goddamn saliva infects him instantly. And what does he do? He beats the shit out of her as soon as he's a zombie. He doesn't try and bite her. He doesn't try and eat her. Just fucking punches her, fucking gouges her eyes out. Crazy guy. So now the dad's a zombie boy and he's infected, and he somehow escapes this secure room, which we got shown visually that they have to have a key card to enter and they can't really get out of. He gets out of it as a zombie, and not only does he get out of it as a zombie, he takes out a bunch of US soldiers on the way. These trained, gunned soldiers who are trained to kill zombies. He just takes them out. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So the whole city goes on lockdown and they start moving everyone to a small car park section just to ram all the humans together. The scientist lady from earlier tries to go and get the kids to be like, yo, come with me, I want to save them, because they could have the possibility to a cure because they have the same blood as their mom, who obviously was immune. She tries to get them, but they get split up, and the younger boy gets into the car park. Now while he's there, he sees his dad through a door and he's like, oh shit, that guy's a zombie. And the zombie comes in and they slowly start getting affected, and you know, of course, you compact everyone into a small space with a zombie, shit's gonna go down. Luckily he gets into the vents up above and he gets out of there, but eventually they break out of the car park and they get into the streets, and they're running down the streets, and half of them are zombies, half of them are humans, and the sniper's on the roof trying to take out the zombies, but they can't tell who's who. And they get a call in, and the military officer's like, fuck it, just kill them all. Anyone you see, shoot them. So they do exactly that. They just start shooting humans and zombies. Now, Jeremy Renner from the hit Jeremy Renner rap. He sees the kid and he starts protecting the boy. He's a nice guy like that. Eventually, the kid runs to a little building where he meets back up with his sister and the scientist lady. And Hawkeye comes down to them and he's like, yo, we gotta get out this hole. He just got a call in from his mate being like, yo, they're gonna burn this place to the ground. They've given up on this shit. So they got to leave this little safe area right now. And all things considered, especially seeing as there's hundreds of zombies apparently going around, they get out pretty easy. Then we see the entire city get burned down by some planes. And we get this little shot, which I fucking hate, of the dad hiding around a corner while fire comes down the streets. Now, this implies that this zombie in particular is smart and dodging the fire. Why are they making a supervillain zombie? I don't know. Anyway, we see some of the zombies actually escape the city before it got burnt, so there are now zombies in the UK again. So we go back to the ragtag group of survivors we got. We got Hawkeye. We got the girl from X-Men First Class. We got the two siblings. And we got this random white boy that's kind of a pussy. His character trait is he's a pussy. So they're in this field and the helicopter comes down, trying to save them, and it's Hawkeye's mate from earlier. But he's like, yo, Hawkeye, I'm here to save you, not any of these fuckers. And a bunch of zombies start coming because they hit the helicopter. And the pussy white boy's like, no, I'm coming. And he jumps on the helicopter, and the helicopter driver's like, nah, fuck off, get off of me. And he drives into the zombies, trying to get him off. And he kills a bunch of zombies. This is all action sequence. Anyways, the scientist lady's like, yo, Hawkeye, we got to save these siblings. They might have the possibility to a cure in them. Their lives are more important than either of ours. Helicopter drives away. He's like, yo, Hawkeye, meet me at this place, and just you, because I ain't picking up anyone else. So they start heading over to that place, even though his plan is to just take them all again. Just the same plan again. On the way there, they're down some streets, and they see a big cloud of gas coming towards them, and they see some zombies coming in from behind them. They're cornered, they're trapped. Zombies, gas. They get into a little car, they lock all the doors, and they cover their mouths. The zombies are banging on the door, but they get knocked out by the gas. Begs the question, how do these zombies work? They're using their brains? I guess they're more human than normal zombies? I don't know. It doesn't really explain it much. Anyways, zombies are now knocked out, and they get some soldiers coming down the street, shooting any of the bodies on the floor, just killing all the zombies. They try to start the car they're in, but it won't start, so they need a little push. Hawkeye's like, all right, bet, I'm doing a push it now. He gets out of the car, he starts pushing it, he starts getting some leeway, and then he gets set on fire. Why didn't he, like, shoot them? Why didn't he shoot the soldiers that were shooting, that could have killed him? Why didn't he start pushing and then get back in the car? He wanted to die, I think. I think he was done. I think he was over the movie. He just got the email in that he's going to be in the Avengers film. So he's like, I bet I'm done. I'm over this. So then we get the worst sequence in the movie, I think. They start going into the subway system. It's really dark down there because there's no lights, obviously. The power's all down. So the scientist lady uses Hawkeye's night vision on his gun to lead them where to go. The sequence goes on for way too long and is not it's not scary. It's just sort of, why am I watching this? We just get these close-up shots of the siblings turning around going, are we going the right way? Multiple times for like 2 minutes. Just like nothing was happening. Eventually one of them trips, and then they all trip and they all fall down these stairs. And then we see him, the siblings' dad, the zombie dad, the supervillain of this movie. For some reason, they had a supervillain in this movie. The same zombie just kept showing up. He comes over and beats the shit out of the scientist lady, just kills her. And then he runs over to the son and he bites him. Oh my god. Anyway, the sister shouts, and for some reason, they put a little voice clip of her mother over her, implying that the dad had a little bit of humanity left in him. Maybe, I guess, like maybe he heard her voice and heard the mother in that voice, was like, oh, what? I don't know, but that would imply that he likes the wife, but he did just gouge her eyes out 2 minutes ago. Anyways, she shoots her dad. Dad's dead. Her brother's like, oh my god, stay away, I'm gonna turn into a zombie. He runs away. She runs over. He's like, am I a zombie? She's like, no, you're not. Kind of felt useless. We assumed that they were gonna be immune, but I guess we can have this elongated scene being like, maybe he'll turn into a zombie. I never believed he would, but sure. So they get to the helicopter place. They like, yo, let us in, baby. And he's like, I bet, sure. Whatever. And as they're flying away, they start blasting the loudest music I've ever heard in my goddamn ears. The audio mixing on this movie and the last one is goddamn ass. And we get another 28 days later, and we see some of the zombies have ran through the Channel Tunnel and got to France. Bum, bum, bum. Wow. So how was the movie? Well, this movie, compared to the first movie, this one kind of felt all over the place. Where the first one had a very compact cast, you know, the same 4 people. This one had a bunch of people we were following who were doing separate things multiple times. And it makes me question who was the main character. Oppenheimer was obviously the main character of the first one. And the siblings, I suppose, are the main characters of this one. But I couldn't tell you a single thing about them except their brother and sister, and they're immune. And they like their mom and dad. They have no interesting character traits, and they have nothing more than they are brother and sister and their kids. And the same with any of the characters, really. Hawkeye is just a sniper guy who is nicer than the other sniper guys. Scientist lady is just a scientist lady who wants to find a cure. She is more interested in science and a better of humanity than her own life. The dad's just a guy. The mom's just a woman. Yeah. I also didn't like the father became a supervillain in this movie. He just kept reappearing to antagonize the main two. He came up in the car park. He came up in the subway. He had a little cameo when they were trying to escape the city for some reason. He fucking survived the firebombing by just hiding around a corner. Why didn't he just run out with the rest of the zombies? Why did they purposely make him hide from the fire? It felt like they wanted a 1v1 against the kids and the dad. I don't know why. It's a zombie movie. But yeah, this movie feels really different from the first one. It doesn't feel like a sequel movie at all. Obviously, it's a different cast of characters, but it doesn't feel like it's in the same world. Where the first one was very grounded and felt like reality of what these people would be like in the zombie apocalypse, how people would react to losing people, and different types of people would react to that. You got the soldiers obviously becoming villains with it and abusing their power. You got Oppenheimer first time seeing it and how he reacted to it. You got this nice little family who just kept to themselves trying to save other people that they could help. This one just felt like, oh, we're gonna rebuild civilization in this one. We're gonna actually ignore anything that would interesting happened over those last time. Oh, we're just gonna do our own little thing, and the best way we can think of that is just time jumping to when we can make it so there's no more zombies around, and we can control when the zombie virus happens again. They felt like they just wanted to start the virus again, and that's what they did. And they just made a new start to the virus in this movie and then spread it again. This is also the same complaint I can make for the first movie. I just forgot to mention it. I think they're meant to be horror movies, but it didn't feel scary at all. I'm a pussy boy when it comes to horror movies, and I was not scared. I didn't find a single thing in this scary. In fact, that goddamn jump scare, I'm still thinking about it now, made me giggle. So overall, I'm probably gonna give the movie a 4 out of 10. I didn't like it, to be honest with you. Yeah, same point I made for the first one. If I ever wanted to watch a movie and I saw, oh, 28 weeks later, I could watch that. No, I'm not gonna. 28 years later. The movie starts with a bunch of kids watching Teletubbies. Zombies come in and start eating everyone, and we follow this one kid. He runs to a nearby church where his dad is there as the priest. And he's like, yo, dad, fucking save me. And he's like, listen, son, I'm accepting that I'm gonna die. You can take this cross and get out of here if you want, but I'm gonna let the zombies eat me once they get him in. And the zombies come in and they eat him, and the kid hides, and he hears his father die. And the dad's loving it. The priest is fucking loving the zombies eating him up. We cut to 28 years later. Now, from the last movie, we learned that zombies die after 5 weeks of not eating food. We also learned that the entirety of the UK was zombie free, because obviously they die after 5 weeks. So there was only this small town worth of zombies. Half of those got burned to death. Some of them went to fucking France, and we saw the soldiers killing some of them as they went. So presumably there was no one left in the UK. So this movie should have 0 zombies, right? We follow this little family in this little town. Craven the Hunter wants to take his kid off their little island to the mainland. That's what they call England, I guess, because they're on this little island just on the outskirts. Spike's the kid, so I'm gonna call him Spike from now on. Spike's mother is like, yo, I don't want him to go. But the problem is the mother is kind of a little bit crazy. She's not remembering things right. She's kind of confused all the time. So they don't really listen to her or respect what she has to say, and they just dip. They get out of it. Now everyone in the town is kind of happy. They're like, yo, you go, guys. You go, girl. Spike, you go kill some people. And while they're leaving, they go into the big island. Interspersed in between is a bunch of random ass clips that feel out of place and just random. There's some clips from old war movies and some clips from real wars, and then some clips of zombies in the movie with a red filter on top of them. Just feels random. Just, okay, sure. I think this is meant to be artsy. I think it's a weird stylistic choice, and I don't like it. I won't lie. Anyway, they see their first zombie. It's a chunky ass boy eating some worms on the floor, and Spike has to kill him with a bow and arrow. He hits that shot easy peasy. They try and get snuck up on by some another fat Asian zombies. Why are they all fat? I don't know. So we see the zombies have been eating worms, I guess. That's how they survived 28 years. Whatever. And I don't know how they're so chunky from all these worms. I don't know. Anyway, they keep adventuring. They find this little house with this guy in there. He's hung up with a bag over his head and some markings on his chest that say Jimmy. It's written with like a knife, you know, like cut into his chest, you know, showing that there are definitely other humans here because he couldn't have got himself up there in the first place. And these other humans are a little bit crazy from the looks of things. They're torturing this guy. Anyway, the guy that's hanging has turned into a zombie now. So Quicksilver's like, yo, kill this guy. It'll make it easier to kill more zombies the more you kill. They keep adventuring and they find a dead deer in the woods with his head ripped off and chucked into a tree. And it does a little flashback, I suppose, of another red filter of the zombies doing that, of grabbing the deer, ripping his head off and putting it in the tree. So it seems like the zombies are becoming territorial. Less like zombies are more just like cavemen in a way of just being like doing things for fun in an essence. There was no need to rip the deer's head off and put it in the tree, but they did. Quicksilver's not a fan of this, so they start heading out and they're in this big field and they see big zombie up on the hill and more zombies coming after. They're like, ah shit, we gotta get out of here. So they start running through the woods. Quicksilver's doing some quick shots on them as they're running, and it does this stupid ass sequence of every time they get a little headshot, they do a little spit around with some fake blood coming out. Now this was done with a bunch of iPhones, I believe, and it was praised online because it'd be like, yo, this is cool. I hated it. It felt like it slowed down the movie and was trying to be cool to be like, yo, look at these sick ass headshots they're getting. Bro, we've seen this many a times in many films. I'm not impressed that you got some iPhones to do a little 360. Eventually, they get into this little house and they climb up into the loft to hide in there overnight. We cut to this red world again and we see some more naked zombies. And then Spike's there, I guess, because this is now his dream, I guess. It's not really explained. It's like, are these just things for the viewers to see? Or are these visions that they're getting? Why is it red? Anyway, Spike's there and he's seeing his mother in the water. And then it cuts to some rocks falling. And then it cuts to Quicksilver's face. And he wakes up and he's like, oh my god, this building is gonna collapse, because it turns out the building is collapsing. I guess he had a vision of rocks falling because he envisioned the building collapsing. These guys got superpowers or something now? I'm confused. Anyway, they start heading home. They get back to their path, and it turns out a zombie is following them back home. So they start sprinting it down, and they get to the gate. They're like, yeah, let us in. And they let them in, and they get in. They kill the zombie. Happy days. Easy peasy. During the sequence of them trying to get in, there's some really bad ADR from Quicksilver talking to his son. Guys, it's been over 20 years since the first movie. You can fix the goddamn audio by now, please. So they head to the pub now that they've done a successful mission, and Kraven's hyping up his son, being like, yo, he hit every single shot he took. He didn't miss once. And one of the girls there watching Kraven's like, yo, Kraven, paint me like one of your French girls, for real. And they start making out, and he starts kissing her lips, but not her mouth. And Spike sees it, and he's like, yo, that's not good. You're married to my mom. Anyway, Spike runs away. He's like, I don't like all this stuff. And he goes to talk to some old guy. I don't know who the old guy is. I don't know how the correlation between him and Spike. I think he was looking after Spike's mom while they were gone, I think. Anyway, the old guy's like, yo, anything interesting happen? And Spike's like, yeah, we saw a fire from really far away. And the old guy's like, oh yeah, that fire was the doctor. And he's like, Doctor Who? From the first movie? And he's like, no, the doctor. There's a doctor that lives on the mainland. Spike's like, a doctor? So he can save my mom. So in the morning, Spike goes to Kraven's like, yo, what's up with this doctor guy? And Kraven's like, yeah, we saw this doctor when I was younger, and he had hundreds of dead bodies in a field, and he started burning them, and he looked at us and told us to come down and talk to him. We were just young at the time, and we thought, fuck that shit, we're out of here. So I would not mess with that guy. So Spike gets in an argument with his dad after the mom calls out asking for help. They both run upstairs, and Kraven's like, what can I do, honey? And Spike's like, fuck off, you fucking bitch, get the fuck out of here. And Kraven does. He listens to his son, which is very weird. Surely you would just be a man and be like, no, I'm your dad. Fuck off. Anyway, Spike comes up with his genius idea. He sets this little, like, shed on fire. He runs up to the guard tower. He goes, yo, all your guards, you need to go sort that fire out right now. I'll keep an eye on the gate. Don't worry, boys. I'm not doing anything mischievous. So all of the guards leave. He does something mischievous. He takes his mom out of the fucking safe place to go and find this doctor. So they go on this little adventure to go find the doctor. They stay in this little church on the mainland overnight. They don't have much trouble. Just one zombie came up to them in the middle of the night that the mom sorted out. She can't remember she sorted out because she's got dementia. Because of some soldiers running from some zombies. Yet again, all those zombies are naked as fuck. Their dicks are hanging out. It's not making my life easy to edit this. They get cornered by the zombies, and one big boy zombie grabs one of the soldiers, rips his head out, and holds it in the air like a trophy. And the zombies kill all of the soldiers but one. He gets away, and we cut back to Spike and his mom. They get chased down by some zombies to a gas station, and once they're in the gas station, the air is really hard to breathe, suggesting that the gas from the station has leaked out into the building and spread around the air. The zombies chase in after them and corner them, and the soldier from earlier comes over and shoots the zombies inside of the building, igniting the entire building to explode and a big fireball to happen, and somehow everyone was unscathed except the zombies. Thank God for that. So they all meet each other, and he's a Swedish guy. He explains how he joined the Navy in Sweden, and he was patrolling the UK, making sure nothing comes in or out, because obviously there's a zombie apocalypse there. They don't want anything to spread, and one of their boats crashed, and he got into a lifeboat and crashed up on shore, and everyone died apart from him. Now they're all friends. They start chilling and going on this adventure together, and the mom, the crazy bitch she is, she hears some screaming and runs, just leaves the rest of the group, and she finds a pregnant zombie, just a pregnant zombie, and she helps the zombie give birth. What the fuck is happening in this movie anymore? I feel high watching it. I'm confused. So they now have a baby zombie. The zombie is healthy. The mom's like, this is great stuff. Look at this baby. The Swedish guy's like, we gotta kill that bitch. It is still a zombie. I don't care if it looks human, talks human. It came out of zombie's fucking vagina. Now thank God for plot armor, because as soon as the Swedish guy is about to shoot him, boom, zombie comes out of nowhere and kills him and rips his head off. Now this zombie that just ripped his head off, I think he might be the baby's dad, because he wants that baby back, baby back, baby back. They have a little chase sequence of the fucking zombie trying to eat them up. Luckily, they get saved by Voldemort. Just comes out of nowhere and drugs up the zombie. And it turns out Voldemort is the doctor. So they go with Voldemort back to his crib to sort this whole thing out. He's like, yo, is the baby why you wanted to see me? And he's like, nah, my mom's not very well. And they see the crib, and it is fucking horrifying. I don't know why they're so chill with it. There's big pillars of bones and then a big pile of skulls in the middle. So Voldemort took the Swedish guy's head and melts it and fucking gets the skull from it and goes, yo, Spike, you seem like you've had a bad day. Here's a skull. You can place it on my tower. So he does exactly that. He's really down with this. He's down to clown with this whole skull situation. And he puts the skull on the tower and he goes, yes, that's good. So Voldemort does some tests on the mom to see what's wrong with her, and he concludes it's goddamn cancer. So Voldemort drugs up Spike to make him a little sleepy boy, and he takes the mom to the side and he kills her. I think the mom decided that she wanted to just end it now, stop the suffering. She keeps forgetting shit. It seems kind of fucked up though of a decision though. She is in the middle of nowhere with her son and decides to kill herself. Not a great mother role there. So Voldemort kills the mom, melts down her body and gets the skull and goes, hey Spike, I know your mom's dead now. I know you came to me to try and help her, and it turns out I just fucking killed her. But here's her skull. You can put it on the tower. And he's like, I will. I'll put her at the very top because that's where she belongs. And they have this emotional moment where they have some flashbacks from the film that we just watched 2 seconds ago, and it's kind of cringe and sucks and doesn't feel deserved because we don't know these people that well. We haven't spent enough time with them to really care about her death. Also, like I just said, she's leaving her son in the zombie apocalypse by himself to end the suffering of pain. Feel like the mom would probably want to go home first and then do it when she's there to make sure he's safe, but no, she doesn't. Hard cut, they jump into a little safe area because the big zombie's back. No explanation of how he found them or anything, just hard cut. So in this bunker, they're trying to stay safe, but the zombie, he just breaks through, grabs Voldemort, and he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking die. Luckily, the kid's smart, grabs the drugs him up again, and Voldemort's like, I think you better leave. Voldemort was not useful at all. All he did was go, hey, your mom has cancer, I'm gonna kill her now so she stops suffering. Fuck off now, I'm done. But at least he let him put 2 skulls on the tower. That was nice of him. So the kid goes home, he puts the baby outside the gate, knocks on the gate door, leaves a little note with the baby, and then heads back into the wild. We see that they found the baby and the note. They take the baby and the note in. Craven the Hunter reads the note. It's like, yo, dad, I'm gonna go live in the wild for a little bit. Mom's dead. Here's a zombie baby. Look after it. I see ya. And we get 28 weeks later, and it turns out that he's still living in the wild. He's hunting fish, drinking water, you know, vibing. And we see some zombies come up to him and he shoots them in the head, and we see that, oh, he's able to hit his shots now. There's a big point at the beginning of the movie how he, you know, missed all his shots, and he can actually do it now. He's actually living in the wild. Now, if the movie ended there, it didn't suck too bad, you know. There's a lot of things in it which is kind of dumb, but not too bad. But it doesn't end there. It just keeps going for some reason. Like I said, some zombies are coming after him. He's actually hitting the shots now, but then it comes too many zombies where he actually can't hit them anymore. And he runs, and he gets cornered. The zombies are approaching him, and then, boom, out of nowhere, a bunch of colorful individuals just show up. They've all got blonde hair and gold chains, and they're like, hey kid, looks like you need some help. Don't worry, we got you covered. And then the Teletubbies music starts playing, and they start doing backflips, and then the Teletubby music starts turning into heavy rock Teletubby remix version, and they do backflips on the zombies and start killing them. Was this meant to be cool or meant to be purposely cringy? I don't know, but I don't like it either way. The leader of the group comes up to Spike. He's like, yo, I think we should be friends. We see on his chest he's got a little cross, and his name's Jimmy, telling us that this was the kid from the beginning of the movie who had the little cross from his dad, and now he's grown up to be backflipping Teletubby. So these guys, they are based off Jimmy Savile, the known kid fiddler. They also liked Teletubbies, as we saw, so they dress colorful. Also maybe Power Rangers, because that's why they do backflips. Let's just get into that real quick. First of all, the Jimmy Savile thing, I think that is really weird. There's a case to be made, which I've heard before, of how Jimmy Savile was obviously popular back then and kids would have been inspired by him, and that's why they're all dressed as Jimmy Savile. That's the explanation given. And obviously he wasn't outed as a naughty boy at that point when the zombie apocalypse started. Now here's where I disagree with this statement. We gotta remember that yes, this is a fictional world, but real people made this movie, and they didn't have to do that. Sure, Jimmy Savile would have been liked if they never knew that he was a naughty boy who liked kids. But does that mean we should do it? I don't think so. I think that's really weird, personally. I also don't know why there's a bunch of colorful people doing backflips in my zombie movie. This is weird. This feels out of place. It's also how the movie ends. The only clues is 2 times we see Jimmy's name brought up, and the intro sequence where we see kids watching Teletubbies, and that is all the things we are given before we see colorful backflipping people. There was just a lot of random shit in this movie, and it feels like an unfinished story, but not in the way where I want more in the way where it feels like this movie isn't done. What the fuck what did I watch? It doesn't feel like a finished movie. The fact that I know that there's 2 more movies after this makes me dislike this movie even more. It feels more like a teaser to what's more to come than an actual finished movie. If you took this movie as its own thing and without any future things coming afterwards, it feels unfinished. It feels like a story that I haven't finished reading yet. This doesn't feel like a cliffhanger. This feels like, oh, I think I fucking ripped out half the pages of my book. What's going on? There was also this mask thing they kept showing multiple times in the movie. I never mentioned it because I never thought it was important, but then it came up so often. I think it's meant to be, and maybe it'll get brought up in another movie. What? That's dumb though. Fuck off. And how did that zombie get pregnant from earlier? Quick question. There's either two ways they got pregnant, all right? Either one, it was a pregnant woman who got infected and then gave birth. Now, if that's the case, that would mean that there was a pregnant woman in the last 9 months out in the mainland that was alive and then became a zombie. Unlikely. So option B, the more likely one, the zombies are fucking now. Now, if the zombies are fucking now, why is the baby human? Because it's definitely getting some fluids from that mom inside of it. If I had to guess, I'm not a scientist, but I reckon something is coming from the mom into that baby, at least somewhere. And that mom did not have 2 different colored eyes, so it isn't immune like in the second movie. Also, I think the main thing I could say about this movie, it felt like an episode of a TV show where I have to wait till next week to see the next part. It didn't feel like a movie I have to go to theater to see. So overall, I think this movie was a 6 out of 10. I liked it more than the other twos, I'll be honest with you. But there was a lot of things wrong with it, a lot of things I've talked about which I didn't like, so I don't think I can give it anything higher. So overall, I kind of think these movies are overrated, I won't lie. Anyway, subscribe.